Welcome, everyone. We are live. We are live on Twitter. We're live on YouTube and Facebook. Today, Fanbase is fanbasing. So I cannot access Fanbase this morning, and I don't I don't know why. But let's not let that stop us. But we are here. Yes, we are here. How to banish guilt and shame using the 7 principles. What do guilt and shame feel like? Right? Because I know sometimes we do things, oh my God, I'm so ashamed of myself, I'm so blah, blah, blah. Guilt and shame are judgments based upon what you did or what you experienced, what you went through. The issue with them is that they are seeds, they are moods. And because they're seeds and moods, they influence you to act in a particular way. When one feels guilty or ashamed, what is that behavior like? How do you feel when you feel guilty or ashamed of something? What do you do? How do you behave? Well, it may be individual. Everybody's going to behave differently, but they behave the same. They have the same characteristics. And so when you can recognize that you are feeling guilty or ashamed of something, when you can recognize that that is what you are doing, that is when you will change. You see, most of us tend to just have a feeling but not understand it. Have a feeling but not know. Do you get what I'm saying? If you ask someone, well, how do you feel? Most people say, I don't know. I can't put it into words, which is fine. If you can't put it into words, that is A-okay. The question is, what does it make you feel like? What does it make you feel like doing? So that when you do that thing based upon guilt and shame, you'll realize, oh my goodness, how am I acting? Well, I don't want to behave like this. I don't want to walk through life with this shame on me. I don't want to walk through life with this burden of guilt. Why not? Because when you walk through life with that heaviness, right? People say, oh, well, it's good to feel the guilt and the shame because then you won't do it again. Yes, you will. How and why will you do it again? Because the seed that was planted, guilt and shame are seeds. So you will forever feel it and live by it unless you change your mental attitude. You see, we want to go back and dig up all the things. Oh, but I went through this and this is why I act like this. No, do you want to continue behaving like it? There's no point in digging it up. There's no point in digging it up. Digging it up is quite like making it become dry dandelions. You're just blowing on it. I mean, you blow on it. What happens? Those seeds populate elsewhere. So if you don't want dandelions to populate elsewhere, mind you, dandelions are brilliant. So stop spraying them and killing them. They're the little tiny leaves, the beginning leaves. They make the best fresh salad. Oh, they're so good. Great for your digestion as well. But that's another day. Same for the root. Brilliant tea it makes, but I digress. If you've been spraying your dandelions, you can't change that now. Just leave those alone. Those are gone. Right? Don't eat those. Anyway, guilt and shame are heavy. They're burdensome. You know this as well as I do. So to change from that, you first identify, wait, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to feel this thing anymore. Okay, What do you want to replace it with? You can't just say, I don't want this. You must identify what to replace it with. So the new thing that you replace it with will have its own way of expressing itself. That's it. So if you find that you're struggling today with guilt and shame and feeling poorly about yourself, is that what you want to continue doing, or do you want to change? If you want to change, step one, identify what you are feeling. If you cannot put it into words what your feelings are, identify the behavior. Every time I feel this way, I behave like this. Every time I feel this way, I behave like this. Every time I feel this way, I behave like this. So then, what would you prefer to behave like instead? You jot that down. Some people like to write. You see, the journal is not the place to regurgitate the bad things that have happened. Because, funny that, when you go back and you reread it, well, you relive it all again. You can write it down to see where you are, and then write down where you want to be, what you want to be doing. And when you make that distinction and you can see now what it is you want to be doing, now that you've made the choice, it begins to unfold for you. Moments, it begins to unfold. Well, guilt and shame, when you start feeling it in moments, it unfolds and you begin to behave in a particular fashion within moments. So choose how you want to behave. And you will realize that when you start to choose how you want to behave, you'll begin to feel in your body a particular way. This will be the principle of correspondence. As within, so without. The moment you change your mindset about something, the moment you lift your mood or lower your mood, depending on which way you want to go, that feeling is instantaneous. That feeling, listen, we went to the Christmas party and then we went to karaoke afterwards. And when I say that music lifts, it just does. And it was instantaneous. It was instantaneous. You put on your favorite song, don't you change? Doesn't your mentality change in an instant? Yes, it does. You notice this more than anyone else. You notice it. I notice it. So when you change your mental attitude, your mood, your outlook changes right away. Where we falter is when we just do it once and expect that that mood is going to sustain itself all day long. Nothing is sustainable like that. Why? Because the principle of vibration tells us that everything moves and nothing stands still. So you can't be in a good mood all day long. You can't be in a bad mood all day long either. But what you can do is make a habit out of it. This is where persistence comes in. So every time you get the inclination and the feeling, you know how the song goes, I always feel now somebody's watching me, right? Your mood. That's what the mood is. So every time you catch yourself feeling in that particular way of guilt and shame, every time you start to feel it, the way to banish it is to understand that it is only a mindset that you have entertained the same way every time. Thus, it became a habit to feel it. And so, anytime that something happens, we are quote unquote triggered and you go right back to it. Let's paint a picture for you. For those of you who are in winter at the moment, when you see that fresh snowfall and it blankets everything and there are no footprints anywhere, okay, the fresh snowfall without footprints is something that is not yet learned. Well, if it was learned, it would have a pathway. So, because you and I have not yet learned the new way of being, we must start. We must put our feet in that snow and decide where we want to go. You want to get outside and start the car? Okay, that fresh snow has no prints in it. No, not even a bunny was hopping that night. No, sir. So you got to put your boots on, one foot in front of the other, and make a pathway. Now, riddle me this. What pathway are you going to take coming back to the house? The one you just laid down. Why is that? Because you know what to expect from those footsteps, those footprints. Whereas the other snow, you don't know how deep it is. You have no idea. So, this is the same way that the brain works according to habits. So if we have spent our time rocking in the corner and reminiscing about how bad we have it or how good, why do I pick the bad side, kind of, sort of? Because that's where most people are right now. And they feel stuck. How do I know this? Because I see the posts. And they want to understand how to get out. So that's why I choose this pathway, right? So when you're feeling that way, you realize you act the same way every time. You make the same choices based on that thing that you feel. You make the same choices because you have set down that pathway. And it is easier and quote unquote safer to travel in those footprints that you laid down before. The mind likes comfort. Let's not get it twisted. People always say, get out of your comfort zone. In order to get out of your comfort zone, you have to learn a new way of being. But it will always be comfort because that's what the brain prefers. Familiarity brings comfort and a sense of safety. That is the way the brain works. That's why those neurological pathways that we follow on a daily basis, even though we might not want to follow them, when you say, oh my God, I hate doing that, you will continue to do it until you form a new pathway. You just can't hate what you do. That would be a lesson in futility. You do not hate what you do. You observe what you dislike. You observe it and you answer the question, what would I prefer instead? Remember, because there are no voids. As within, so without. It doesn't just hang as within. It has to be the same on the outside. Balance. It has to match. So when you say, I don't want to do that, you must define what you want to do. And the moment you choose what you want to do, that choice now has its own way of expressing itself. And if we stay faithful to make that new thing a habit, that's where the change comes in. But then people ask, well, how long is it going to take? That's the question that gets me every time. What do you mean, how long is it going to take? It takes as long as it takes. Why? Because when you set down the muscle memory for the thing that you're learning, and you no longer have to think about doing it, you just do it naturally. Without having to remember it, you just do it. Well, that's how long it takes. So stopping to ask how long it takes only creates delay because it means you are not practicing to lay down the new neurological pathway. This is, go to any gymnastics class, go to any dance class, go to any cosmetology class. It is all exactly the same fashion. But because, here's what I want you to grasp. The same way you do it on the outside, that thing that you look around you in life and you can see. You go to a stylist who's got years of practice, right? Or you go to the new stylist. Now, which one you feel more comfortable going to? The one who's been doing it for a long time or the new one? Why would you choose the one who's well seasoned? Because there's a comfort in what? They must know what they're doing. They've been doing it longer. They don't have to think about it anymore. But you see, the one who's just learning? The one who's just learning also deserves the opportunity to practice. Why? Because they're much more vigilant now. They're not set in the way, they're learning the way. So you cannot rob them. So now you can't rob them of their learning because they're new. And it is the same thing we do to ourselves. We rob ourselves of that practice and rehearsal because it is new. Oh, I haven't been doing it long enough. I'm not sure of myself. The way to become sure of oneself is to practice. So, what are you practicing exactly to move from guilt and shame? You're practicing the recognition of the mood. You're practicing what it feels like. Oh, oh, I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling that way. Okay, what do I want to feel like instead? Well, let me change my mood. Now, changing your mood is nuanced, meaning I have ways of changing my mood that are unique unto me. You have ways of changing your mood that are unique unto you. So you find the thing that you like to do that lifts your mood and brings you up from where you presently are. And when you do that, now you can see from a different perspective. Why? Because when you are in the throes and the grip of guilt and shame, you only see in the way that you can all the things that corroborate your guilt and your shame. You begin to see all the reasons why you should be punished. You see all of the reasons why. But if you change the mood, you begin to see the other side of things. Why you deserve to be free of it. You deserve to see that. This is the only time I like using the word deserve. But that's what happens to you when you lift the mood. When you move yourself mentally from one mood to the next, your perspective changes. When one is feeling hopeless and cannot see the way out, what kind of thoughts do you think they entertain? All of the thoughts that confirm for them, you see? You might as well do it. There's no way out. Nothing can change. You'll be stuck like this forever. So you may as well end it and start again. Oh, but if you change that mood, now you begin to see, oh my God, I was so silly. Look at this. I already feel better. And the moment you feel better, you act better, thereby banishing what was back there. But the way to keep it banished is to persistently recognize it and change it every time. Remember the analogy or the story of the baby and the stove. The baby is sitting with you and you're playing with the baby, but then a sparkle happens and something catches the baby's attention. Ooh, the stainless steel stove. And the baby now becomes curious and says, ooh, let me go do this. And it crawls all the way over to the stove. Now, that's not where you want the baby to be. So what do? You pick up the baby and you say, "Aw, little Schnookums, that's not where you should be. This is where Mama wants you." And you put it in front of its toys. But the baby says, "Yeah, that's nice, but I want to see what's over there." So it crawls all the way back. You have to intercept the baby. You intercept the baby by picking it up and putting it where you want it to be. Who's the baby? You're the baby. I'm the baby. Gotta love me. You know what? If you know, you know. You are the baby. I am the baby. So every time these thoughts of, oh my God, I'm such a failure. I let my family down. I'm so ashamed of myself. Every time you catch the stench of that, and that's exactly what it is, stench, okay? Let's not let's not put rose petals on it and hope it smells better, because it's not. Guilt and shame are just nasty and vile because of how they make you behave. That's why I call them vile, but that's my opinion. Let's go back to the law. So now, when you catch yourself moving towards it, remember, you're the baby. Do you kick the baby and say, damn it, what I tell you? Is that what you do to the baby? The baby doesn't understand. So you can't kick it and yell at it and shake it. You can't do that. You're teaching it something. So teaching requires gentleness. So you pick up the baby and you bring it back, which means you pick up your awareness. Because you are aware of feeling guilty or ashamed, you pick up from there and you say, no, here is where I want to be. And you put yourself mentally where you want to be, how you want to feel. And when you do that, what happens? You begin to set down a new pathway from where you are to where you want to be. So that um when you want that change to take root, it will take root because you have persistently picked up your awareness, the gentle little baby, mm, and put it where you want it to be. That's what it is. That's what you're doing. See, that's what you're doing over and over again. Now, Neville Goddard, he suggests doing it in a particular fashion, a pleasurable fashion, where you use your imagination to see where you want to be. And he asks the question, he says, what would you be doing if you weren't doing that? Which triggers us to do what? Begin to tell the story of what you want to do. That's it. So that's how he does it. He says, listen, begin to experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. So he says, well, do that. And as you begin to do it, you just take a couple moments out of your day and you just lay still or sit still or stand still and just see it in your mind's eye. And your body will begin to register how you feel. Because it is that feeling that leaves the impression upon you and sets down the pathway for you to follow. This is what he suggested based upon who he was and what was revealed to him. It is not right, it is not wrong, it is just the revelation. But if you look at it, you will see it is the revelation of the principles. Mentalism, the all is mind. The universe is mental. Everything we see on the outside first has its origin within. Right? It has its origin within. So that's why when you entertain the moods habitually, how does one make a habit? By doing the same thing the same way every time. Go to boxing, you go to Muay Thai, you go to a cooking class. You see, the pattern for making cookies, because we are in the season of cookies, the pattern for cookies is what? Creaming the butter and the sugar. That is always going to be the base for cookies. You need a fat and you need sugar. That's the base. So the base for bread is what? Sugar, water, yeast. Or if you do sourdough. Everything has its way. So if you can see those things physically in the world, you make cookies in this fashion every time. You make bread in this fashion every time. You make borscht in this fashion every time. You don't know what borscht is? Ooh, you're missing out. You need to get you some Ukrainian friends or Russian friends. The Russian borscht just has more beets in it, if memory serves me correctly. So, but it's the same formula. Pasta, same formula. So then that would tell you that the way you make something in the kitchen is a habit. So mentally, if you use the principle of correspondence as above, so below, what's below? The kitchen, the garden, below. What's above? Your awareness. So if you have to make cookies in the same way every time, well then that should tell you a habit is doing the same thing the same way every time so you get the same result. So, to move yourself from guilt and shame, recognize when you are in it. If you don't recognize that you're in it, why would you change? Because you don't see that you're in it. You don't see the problem. But you must become aware when you're feeling it, which means we have to take back some of our attention from, oh my God, look at the price of this these days. Oh my God, look at all these wars. You must remove your attention from the outside and put it inside, which means paying attention to what comes out of your mouth, paying attention to what your thoughts are when you're sitting on the potty. Oh, you thought it was something else? Listen, you will find that neurological pathway real quick when you're relaxed. You'll go back to the old way real quick when you are relaxed, my friends. Why? Because relaxation. Now you're not vigilant anymore. You're just on autopilot. So the key here is guilt and shame is just autopilot because we have entertained them. We've allowed ourselves to be caught up in it. That's why. So the way to banish guilt and shame is step one, recognize when you are in it. Recognize when it is happening. So that when you see when it is happening, you can say, no, here's where I want to be. And then using the principle of polarity, you polarize yourself. Meaning what? You pull yourself in the direction you want to go mentally. Mental polarization. We experience polarity on a daily basis. Oh, you want to talk politics? You'll see polarity at work right there. No, I'm a Democrat. No, I'm a Republican. No, I'm a conservative. No, I'm a liberal. That is polarity. They are, quote unquote, we want to think that they're on opposite sides, but they are not opposite. The only reason they appear to be opposite is because of the left and the right. They are positional opposites, but their views are exactly the same. This is why it doesn't matter which wing you choose, you're choosing the same bird. Okay? So don't think that polarity means they're opposites. They're not. Let's not deceive ourselves. Right? It's just practice recognizing when you feel nasty with guilt and shame. Recognize it and then do something which is unique unto you, okay? To move yourself mentally. Now, when I say move yourself mentally, and I say that you have a nuanced way about you, well, then you'd have to understand where cutting comes in. You see, you'd have to understand where drinking comes in. You'd have to understand where smoking comes in. because those are things that we have turned to, okay? But if you look at them, you will see that they don't lift. Hello? Oh, they move you, but they move you along the same polarity that you are already on. Just observe it and you will see. You will see polarity at work. I mentioned those three things because they just came into my mind right there at that moment. Because people want to understand, comprehend why they do what they do. You do, I do, we do what we do because of the mental mood we are in. If the mental mood is low, you will act accordingly. If the mental mood is higher, you will act accordingly. So then you get to choose how you want to behave. You don't want to cut, but because you have practiced it as a way of coping, it is what you do. But here's the freedom for you today. You don't have to remain in that. If you don't want to do that, what would you prefer? Get up and go outside. Get up and go outside and be around people. Lift the mood. Because when you lift the mood, now you lighten things. Right? You're not stuck in that. Not at all. You're not stuck in it. So I want you to understand that you don't just lift the mood and you're done. No, you lift the mood every moment that you can. Why? Because when you persist in lifting the mood, you change the behavior. You don't have to. Remember, Neville Goddard says you don't have to lift a finger to make it so. Because when you lift the mood, you act. You don't have to figure out how to act. The mood dictates how you act. So when you say, I can't help myself, because the mood, especially if you've been doing it for a long time, that mood, and you say, I can't help myself, only because that is a well laid down pathway. So the way to help yourself is to develop a new way of behaving, a new mood. So you practice the new mood, the new behavior emerges, and you do it. Can you do it? Set a timer. That's how to be deliberate. Set a timer, and you determine, you know what? I'm going to do this. Every 2 hours, I'm going to do this. And you sit there and you just practice getting that mood where you want it to be. So, and listen, changing a mood only takes a moment. So you set your timer. Every 3 hours, every 2 hours, do this new thing, which is to lift the mood. Over and over. Why? Because you're setting down a new habit, a new way of being. So let me say it this way. So be encouraged, my friends, to comprehend that guilt and shame have no power over you. They are just moods. They are just moods. Oh my God, and they feel so strong, don't they? They feel like they own you. They feel like they're kicking your ass. I know that they do. But the only reason why they feel that way is because, remember the footsteps in the snow? When you see footsteps in the snow or you see a pathway on the field, which way do you take? The path of least resistance, where the footsteps are. Why? because there's safety there. So that's why the longer the habit has been set down, the more you do it, even though you don't want to. So don't feel bad about that. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just recognize it for what it is and why you do it. You do it because it's the path of least resistance. Now, your persistence in catching, when you're following that old pathway, to change it, change it, change it. Persistently do that. And in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, do you know what you will have done? Set down a new pathway for you to follow. But by golly George, you have to do it. You gotta do it. You gotta do it and do it and doing it well. You must do it. That's where the freedom is, in the doing, instead of, I'm captive. My past. We live by way of memory. So the key is to set down a new memory. And the way to set down a new memory is to rehearse that new memory so that you're no longer held captive. This is why when they tell you that you can either free yourself or ensnare yourself, it is all right there in that principle of mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is mental. This is why when people say suffering is optional, that's what they mean. It just means that so long as you continue to practice and wallow in your guilt and your shame. Oh, but Angela, the world is so unforgiving. The who is so unforgiving? The world. As within, so without. So if you think the world is unforgiving, start with forgiving of oneself. How do you forgive yourself? By recognizing when you're walking in your guilt and shame and recognizing that, wait a minute, I don't want to walk in that. I want to walk in this. I lift my mood. And this thing, I love to paint, I love to draw, I love to dance. And that helps me to lift my mood. And ta-da, new mood, new behavior. Over and over and over and over and over again. Persist until it becomes muscle memory. That's how long it takes. How long did it take for you to parallel park? Shoot, some of us are still trying. But you know what? Let me stop. It's the same principle. So this is why when you hear be gentle with yourself, remember the analogy of the baby. That is how you become gentle with yourself, by simply recognizing that you will continue to do what you've always done until you set down a new neurological pathway. And it is very easy to set down a new neurological pathway. How? By persisting in the new mood until it becomes the old. We have a saying in Barbados. New brooms sweep clean, but old brooms know the corners. You know those corn brooms with the little spikes on them? The longer you use them, they take the shape of the corners, do they not? That's your neurological pathway. You've been doing it so long, it has a shape, and you follow it every time. But the new way, you try getting that brand new broom in the corner. Seems like a challenge, doesn't it? Because it doesn't bend yet, which means you have to keep using it. So today, my friends, be encouraged to know that you can. Scientists are coming out and telling you, oh my God, we were wrong. We were telling you that you can't learn new things at an old age. But there's neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the principle of correspondence, as within, so without. And to make it, well, employ the principles. But I understand sometimes when we become discouraged. I get it. I'm not sitting here, well, laying here and telling you I don't get discouraged. Of course I do. I am human after all. But you put your discouragement in perspective and recognize that the feeling is just that. And you can choose to feel. So I trust that it makes sense for you today. I couldn't get on the fan base this morning, and I was not going to fight with that. I wasn't going to turn off and on and unload and reload. No, anybody got time for that. So I said, fine. Y'all know where to find me. Right? So, what will you do today? Hmm? Sometimes I, hmm, sometimes I wish there were more freedom in what one could say on these platforms. You know? But as you remember to pick sense from nonsense, eh? You've been here long enough. And if you haven't, understand. If I say something that is coded, that's what I'm getting at. Today, you don't have to struggle anymore. It's not that people don't want to live. It's just that what they're going through, they want that to end. I am telling you how to preserve your life and simply change what you're doing into something else. Transmutation. Polarity. You're moving mentally. The only reason why those dark thoughts persist is because the mood itself. But if you lift the mood persistently and remain encouraged to know that no one mood can be sustained indefinitely. I can't stay mad all day. Can't stay happy all day. But if I make a habit of going to that happy or sad, then that is what makes it persist in our lives. So don't for one moment think that I don't understand. Oh yes, I comprehend. I do. I do. So that's why I tell you, when you are out here in these here streets, they tell you misery loves company. But that's the principle of correspondence. Miserable people hang around miserable people because they're the same. So choose wisely. Because the moment we complain about our guilt and our shame and we feel that icky kind of way, you're making that your habitual place. And you already know you don't want to go there. You don't fight and struggle against it. You polarize, you move yourself mentally and lift your mood. I am telling you how to do this. But it is now up to you, my beautiful friends. It is up to you and I to apply. This is why I break it down like penguin food so that you know what that means, right? Penguin food. She eats it and then vomits it back. Why? It's pre-digested. In a way, why? So it is easily assimilated. I tell you, use the principles everywhere you see them. You break something down to its most basic form so that it can be easily applied. So that it can be easily applied, thereby bringing hope and comfort to all. You should be able to look in the mirror and know that you can become, in spite of what you may have heard from somebody somewhere. Oh, you'll never be anybody. Oh, you're just like this person. You're just like that person. Hey, catch that bad boy. Catch it and put it where it needs to be. In the trash. So, I trust that this was helpful to you this morning. I trust that it was. But you won't know until you apply it. And here's the thing. We apply things with some pep in our step. Why? Well, look at how heavy guilt and shame feel. See how heavy they feel? Yeah. So, if they feel like that, have some fun. How do you have fun with this situation? By recognizing, I don't have to remain as I am. I can change. Wait a minute. I can change. I, me, I can change. Well, let me see. Here, hold my ginger ale. I can change. You roll up your sleeves and you watch and you see how you do it. You say, oh. So why? So that when you see how you've changed, you see that little bit that you've changed? Yeah, that's when you do a jig. That's when you dance. You're like, yeah, I can do this. Oh, I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Yeah, that's how you do it. It is a pleasurable, is it not? It is a pleasurable thing to apply. Why is it pleasurable? Because it is not pleasurable to suffer. That's why. Polarity, my friends at work. Polarity. Polarity. I love you dearly. Well, exactly. You see, as above, so below, employ that principle. You see, when we chew our food, this is why they tell you, I think it takes 32, 33 chews to break down your food. Right. You see, salivary amylase, it's an enzyme in the saliva that breaks down carbohydrates. Okay. That's my nutrition days in school. Why? It breaks down starches so that they're smaller and easier to absorb. Now, what breaks down fats? Bile. Made by the liver, stored in the gallbladder. You want to make soap, then you understand how to break down fat with an acid. Oh, soap making from where? Digestion. But you know what? You want to think that the principles are these things that are so far-fetched when they're around you every single day. As within, so without. As above, so below. So if you have to break your food down into small bits for absorption to happen, well, then mentally, it is exactly the same. Smaller things are easier to apply. This is why when you go to a class, you learn the basics. But you see us, we want to grudge the basics and say, oh, I know that already. No, you don't grudge small beginnings. Small beginnings make things easier for us to apply. Anywho, you are absolutely right, Commander. Enjoying the journey as you grow is key. Because that's what makes it happen a little bit faster. You know, these young whippersnappers with their dual exhaust and nitrous oxide and yeah, they want to go, do you want to go faster? Then enjoy it. That is what makes things go quicker. That's what they tell you. Time flies when you're having fun. Yes, but the moment you don't like something, it feels like it's dragging on, doesn't it? Perspective. So if time flies when you're having fun, apply a little bit of fun in what you're doing. And you will realize, because you're having fun initiating your change, you don't stop to look at the clock and say, am I changed yet? But you'll know when you are. Right? Anywho, anywho, you know I love you. And as always, my DMs are always open. I'll respond to you. I might not respond instantaneously, Give me a couple of hours, but I will respond. Shy. Hey, girl. I see you, Yoda Green, in these here Twitter streets. Thank you for being here and spending this time with us this morning. Shy, darling, you're gonna have to catch the replay. You're gonna have to catch the replay here on Twitter. But banishing guilt and shame. Whew. Think about it. Guilt, shame, whatever other thing you want to banish from your life. I told you how to do it. Step 1, catch when you're in it. Step 2, determine where you want to be instead. Remember Neville Goddard. Begin to experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. Oh, yes. And we add guilt and shame in very strange places. Oh my God, if I eat that, oh, it's gonna go straight to my hips. I can't have that. Oh, why do we apply guilt and shame to food? It's not the food, is it? Because food is for nourishment. So why then is there guilt and shame affiliated with it? Because you're looking at the world through guilt and shame, thus food now becomes tainted. I told you, judgment blinds the eyes and deafens the ear. And now that food that you've just eaten out of guilt and shame sits in your stomach like a rock. Why? Why does it sit in your stomach? Because guilt and shame do not put you in a state of resting and digesting. So now you inhibit digestion because guilt and shame have a different chemical release in the body. That's why when you're guilty and you eat, this is why it feels the way you do. But don't take my word for it. Observe it for yourself and you'll see. I tell you, the principles are everywhere and they are beautiful. So listen, don't let me keep you because it is 5:55 a.m. in my part of the world and that car is not going to start itself and those vents, they're not going to scrape themselves. And these chickens are not going to feed themselves. That is my job. I got to go feed my chickadees. Itty Bitty's awfully quiet this morning. He's still sleeping. And Lady is sleeping too. But you know how it is. So, remember to banish guilt and shame. Recognize when you're feeling them. And when you recognize when you're feeling them, choose. Do you want to feel that? You could deal with this or you could deal with that. You could deal with this or you could deal with that. Which one? Which one do you want to become? Because you cannot say, I hate it over here, without giving yourself an option. Because there are no voids. As within, so without. You must replace it with something else. Or you will continue to do it. Okay? And when you recognize that you're in it, change the mood. Because it is only a mood that you are in. You know how you say, oh my God, I'm feeling some type of way. You are in a mood. Okay? You're only in a mood. So lift the mood. What is your nuance? Do you paint? Do you draw? Do you sing? Do you dance? What? Do that. Lift the mood. You pet the dog? Walk the dog? Smell the flowers? What is your nuance to lift your mood? Lift it. But remember, lifting of the mood has nothing to do with harm, self or other. That is not lifting of the mood. That is lowering of the mood. Hello? Watch it and you'll see. So now once you've lifted the mood, hold it for as long as you can. A minute? 2 minutes? 30 seconds? It is irrelevant. Just hold it. Why? And you practice throughout the day. How many times can you hold it? How long can you hold it for? Why? Because now, as you persist in changing the mood, It becomes a habit so that you choose that mood. Remember the footprints in the snow. Remember the pathway along the field. You're not going to walk in fresh snow because you don't know how deep it is. But if you see footprints in the snow, you're going to put your feet in those. So that means you will always take the path of least resistance. So create it for yourself. Okie dokie. That is your summarization. You know, the cliff notes. The too long didn't read. I love you. I do. And I will catch you tomorrow. Now, I will go and I don't even know if I have time to do it, to offload and upload fan base. I don't have time for that. So I won't do it right now. I'll do it sometime later today, but I'm sure I'll be on fan base tomorrow. Um, Kimberly, welcome. Look, I gotta scroll. I have to scroll. Oh, Miss McQueen. Hey, girl. Um, LT in Atlanta, LT in ATL. Well, good morning. I see you. Truth and Second Chance, I see you. Kimberly, I see you. Casey's photos, I see you. And I know, my dear Liza, darling, I see you. The better man, I see you. Perhaps I even see Jeff here. I don't know. But I see you. And I love you. YouTube is telling me, girl, you've been talking for 56 minutes. It's time to go. So that is what we do, Commander. Practice, practice, practice. Why does anybody practice? So that we can perform what we have practiced. Which is going to tell you that if you persist in changing that mental attitude, you will change your life experiences. You will change the way you perform in life. And how will you perform in life? The way that you have practiced mentally. Until the next episode. Same time, same platforms. Have it? Anybody have it? Anyway, I love you. And I'll see you right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and when? Fanbase. 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Much love to each and every one of you. And if you have questions, slide into my DMs and I will respond. Not because I know everything. I just know the principles. I don't know nothing else. Oh, I can bake some cookies. Yesterday's batch, well, I don't know. I tried a new recipe. You see what happens when we, instead of sticking, oh, you know what? I should have stuck to his recipe because they soft and chewy. These ones, if I throw it at you, we could be like David and Goliath. Just backs in the middle of your forehead and knock you out. Not impressed. But my bagels did turn out great, though. Anywho, I love you. And I'll see you on the morrow. Mwah. Peace out. Peace out. Oh, 9 people are here? Oh, today's episode must have been bumping. Wow. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Natasha Bedingfield, but you know, I digress. Anyhow, let me go. Parting is such sweet sorrow. I hate leaving you because I love you just being in your presence. I do. I love hanging out with you. Anyway, yeah, yes, Commander, rehearse mentally. What are you rehearsing? The mental attitude of the behavior you want to portray. What are you rehearsing? The mental attitude of the behavior you want to portray in the world. Every behavior has a mental attitude attached to it. So that is what you experience in imagination, what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. You would be walking through this world with an attitude, with a pep in your step, with a swagger. Well, what is the mental attitude that accompanies that swagger? That is what you practice mentally so that the swagger occurs physically. But of course, darling Kimberly, having an amazing day on purpose. There are no coincidences in the world. We are deliberate. That is what the law causes us to be. Deliberate. Ow. See, I told you I was going to go, but here we are. I'm still here. It's been an hour. Oh, Lord. Anyway, let me know if that makes sense. I will take some time and see if I can make some shorts out of these about this video. Um, bite-sized pieces. You see? And we think that the fact that quote unquote social media came up with shorts, that was something new. That's law, my friends. Of course, it is law. Oh, yes. But then you have to understand the flip side. Mm, that's another day. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Tuesday, but ooh, tomorrow is self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is fake. Oh, no, you didn't say that. Oh, yes, that I said what I said. So you show up tomorrow, I'll tell you exactly why it's fake and how, and then what you can do about it. Oh, self-sabotage, y'all. I know we heard that. So anyway, now that your appetite has been appropriately whetted, WHET. Now that your appetite has been whet, I will see you on the morrow, my darling friends. I've been saying goodbye for like 2 minutes, and I'm still here. Anyway, I love you. I do. You might as well face it, you're addicted to love. Robert Palmer? Low pick. Oh my goodness. It is so good to see you. I responded to your comments. I sure did. I'm the one who always responds to your comments. I don't have a social media manager, sir. I am my social media manager, okay? I respond in real time, okay? I'm glad I stayed to say hello to you. Yes, thank you for being here. Anyhow, I do need to go though. I gotta go start the car. Anyway, because what's the temperature? Miss McQueen, I wonder if I'll see your vomit emoji this morning, if you're still here. Oh, that's not bad. It's -3. Oh my God. But we have a 35% chance of snow tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. More shoveling. But you know what? It is beautiful when it snows. It really is. So I might as well go along for the ride. And 'tis the season, right? For snow. But anywho, yeah, it's -4 right now outside. It is. What's today? Today is are we the 8th or the Miss McQueen, she put her vomit emojis in the chat. She does not like that weather. But hear this, Miss McQueen, on Thursday, it's supposed to be -23. Just the way you like it. -23 on Thursday. OMG. How does the weatherman know these things? Anyway, Twitter, peace out. Ah, I just closed Twitter. But -23 on Thursday and Friday. Oh, and Saturday. Girl, I'm crying too. The good news is when it's that cold, it doesn't snow. So at least the sidewalk will stay nice and they won't have to be shoveled. So there is a plus side for being so cold. But anywho, I love you all, man. I just do. I just love you guys so much. Um, do enjoy the beautiful day. And how does the day become beautiful? Well, that's up to you. How so? As within, so without. Oh, indeed. I love you. I love you. I honestly love you. It's not Olivia Newton-John. You know what? Let's go. Countdown initiated. Oh, yes, indeed it does. Oh, it's shocking. I believe you though. It does have its way. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to you all. Mwah.